Hey, welcome back to the channel. My name is Robbie, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Viper V2 Pro from Razer. And I just wanted to take a look at this mouse to see how it stacks up against the competition in 2024. Razer did just announce the new Viper V3 Pro, and though that mouse looks great, there are some changes with it that I think might justify someone getting this slightly older version at a much reduced price. So let's jump into it, let's take a look at it and go over the specs and the details and kind of what my general thoughts are on this mouse. I am going to try my best to review this mouse today as its own product and how it stands on its own 2 feet versus just doing a straight comparison to other things. And so as we jump into the details of this mouse, I just wanted to note that so that you knew kind of what to expect from this review. The V2 Pro comes in at 58 grams, uses the Razer optical Gen 3 switches, as well as their hyperspeed wireless. Now, I don't have a way on my setup to test the click latency or chart the sensor performance, but what I can give you is my experience just using the mouse, and the tracking on this mouse is exceptional. I had 0 issues, and among other mice that I've used, I think the tracking feels just absolutely spot on. So no complaints there. You will have a great time if you are using this mouse. And the optical switches, they feel really crisp, really snappy. I actually love the sound of them. And though they do sound, I guess, different than some other mechanical switch mice that I've used before, I think that even between those mice, they all sound different. So it's just a different sound. It's a little deeper, almost thockier sound. And that's something that I actually really appreciate. And knowing that I'm not going to experience double clicks is definitely a win on my book. The clicks on the Viper V2 Pro sound awesome. I think that as far as optical switches are concerned, it's among the best. The side buttons have 0 wobble on them. There is no pre-travel. There is no post-travel. They feel incredible. The scroll wheel is pretty light. My wife actually has another copy of this mouse, and her scroll wheel, I would say, is a little bit tensioned or more tensioned than what my copy is, but I think it feels really good. Clicking in mouse 3 is very effortless, no issues with misclicks at all, so overall that click implementation is really, really good. I'll drop a quick sound test so you can hear the clicks. So the shape of the Viper V2 Pro is very similar to things like the HyperX Haste, the Glorious Model O, Final Mouse, and the Zowie FK series. It's a flat, symmetrical designed mouse that does flare out quite a bit at the front of the mouse, and it has a little bit wider back, and it's generally considered to be a longer mouse. But it's a shape for me that I've used for a really long time, and I'm very much at home with it. I aim really well with it, and I overall really like it. Things to note with it is if you are someone that likes to use a palm grip, I think that it totally does work on this mouse, but it does feel different than what you would get on a larger style mouse just because it is flat. But I have no problem using this mouse in that grip style. I typically use a kind of a claw grip where the mouse really hits the very back of my palm, my fingers arch over the top, and I just grip the sides, and that's where I naturally land for my general use. But the thing with this mouse and this shape in particular that is great is it does allow you to have a lot of flexibility in your grip style. So if you need to switch to a fingertip grip, if you need to go into a palm grip, depending on what the situation calls for, this mouse facilitates that without you having to really think about it. The shape just kind of works for all of those. And I think that that's something that makes this a very good, comfortable mouse for all types of games, and in particular playing fast-paced first-person shooters. I think it's a great fit. I'll do a quick size comparison to some of the other mice that I have. So this is the V2 Pro next to the G Pro Superlight. And as you can see, the G Pro Superlight is a lot flatter on the sides, where the Viper V2 Pro is got a little bit more of a curve. And if you put them next to each other, and I'll try and get the camera behind here, you can see that the height of them is much different if you look at them from those side profiles. And so they definitely have a different shape in hand. And then if we compare it to the Lamzu Thorn, you can see that's much taller, definitely obviously more of an ergonomic shape, but there's a little bit of a size comparison that you can look at. And really the length on the V2 Pro and the Lamzu Thorn, if you line them up, they look to be about the same, but I can tell you that the V2 Pro feels much longer in the hand, just because of the way that that flatness is across the top. So the coating on the V2 Pro is very much like a PBT keycap. If you've never used a keyboard that has thick PBT keycaps, you might not know exactly what it is, but it's kind of a rough textured feeling on there. I wouldn't say that it's particularly grippy, but I also didn't find it to be slippery. And that might be because of the shape. My fingers on this mouse really just don't move because of where I'm gripping the mouse. I had no issues with slipping on here. And I actually think that the coating is very comfortable, where it doesn't feel greasy, grimy, or sweaty, and that's very much appreciated. The mouse does come with grip tape in the box if you want to use it. I didn't particularly like that grip tape. I'm typically not really a grip tape person in general, but I had no issues using this mouse without any grip tape on it. I didn't have it slip out of my hand at any point, and overall very, very comfortable to use and wasn't greasy or grimy. As I was recording this video, Razer dropped the Viper V3 Pro, and it's looking to be a phenomenal mouse. So it got me thinking, in 2024, if you're buying one of these mice from Razer, which should you go with? And I think that my recommendation for most people would be to get the V2. And that is because it's been discounted now to $99, which at that price, I think it's just a really good value mouse. You're getting the same sensor performance, the same click performance, the same scroll performance. Everything about it is going to be near identical to the V3 Pro. The main difference being the updated shape on the V3. So if you take a look at the shapes and you think that the V3 shape is going to work better for you, well, I guess that answers that question. But if you're just looking for top tier performance in a lightweight package that, you know, doesn't have holes all over it and comes with a really good warranty, I think the V2 Pro makes a lot of sense for a lot of people and would definitely be my recommendation for most people looking for this type of mouse. And again, if you already know that you want something that's a little bit higher profile, gives you a little bit more palm support, then I think that the V3 might be the way to go. But it is an extra $60 over what the V2 Pro is priced at right now, and I think that just makes a lot of sense.